It appears the fire resulted from a stovetop that had been left on accidentally. Damage from the fire was contained to the kitchen of the apartment, but ventilation equipment had to be brought in to clear smoke from the structure. The American Red Cross is assisting residents who were displaced by the fire. Police officer Jason Huffman was sworn in Monday to fill out the remaining days of Tim Butler's term in the current session of the Illinois General Assembly. Huffman is a Menard County Sheriff's deputy and also works as a police officer in Sherman. Butler resigned December 31st to take a new position as a lobbyist with the Illinois Railroad Association after running unopposed in the last election. Republican Party bosses, rather than voters, will choose the next representative in the 95th House District for the next 2 years. A new U.S. study finds that reports of young children accidentally eating marijuana-laced treats rose sharply as pot became legal in more places. Between 2017 and 2021, the number of cases rose from about 200 per year in 2017 to more than 3,000 per year. The study published Tuesday found nearly a quarter of those children were hospitalized, with some becoming seriously ill. The study's author says parents need to be more vigilant and keep pot candies, chocolate, and cookies out of reach of children. The Mega Millions jackpot increased to an estimated $940 million after another drawing Tuesday with no winner of the grand prize. The next drawing is scheduled to be held Friday night. The new $940 million jackpot is for a winner who chooses to be paid through an annuity over 29 years, while the cash payout would be an estimated $483 million. The new jackpot will remain the sixth largest jackpot in U.S. history and the largest since someone in California won a record $2 billion Powerball prize on November 8th. There still has not been an announced winner of that prize. Your dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
It's the time of year when the best part of your day might very well be getting out of the weather and getting into your nice, comfortable home. But is your home as comfortable as it could be? It can be with MB Heating and Cooling. First of all, a service agreement with MB Heating and Cooling makes sure that your furnace is working at peak capacity and optimum performance. You save money, you extend the life of your equipment, all at big savings. You can find out more about service agreements at mb-heating.com. But don't forget about the other services MB offers, like a humidifier. As part of your heating system, it would make a huge difference in indoor air quality and comfort. You can ask the team at MB about one when you schedule your service appointment. And maybe it's time for a new furnace all the way around. If your furnace is old and tired and not as efficient as it should be, it's time for a new one. Talk to the folks at MB Heating and Cooling. Again, you can go to mb-heating.com or call 217-544-HEAT, 217-544-4328.
Step away from the hectic pace of life for 30 seconds and let me tell you about Elkhart Station. You'll find Elkhart Station located in the heart of Elkhart, Illinois, where nostalgia meets small-town charm. Search the fun and unique handcrafted products and everyday necessities, including food and beverages from the state of Illinois. Let your taste buds decide which of the local beer, wine, and crafted spirits are the best in the tasting room experience. For more information, visit conshg.com.
If you want to bank safe from anywhere, get the app you can use everywhere. Your money's right in your hand. Nobody loves you like Heartland. Get a loan, pay a bill when you're on the go. Deposit that check right from your phone. Download our app and you can. Nobody loves you like Heartland. We're like a bank, but only better, 'cause you'll remember. Bank like you own the place. Heartland Credit Union.
Everywhere you are with TuneIn Radio, the WMAY app, or at WMAY.com. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
Your dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Today, mostly cloudy. Chance of flurries or sprinkles late this afternoon. High of 38 degrees. Low tonight around 30. Tomorrow, chance of flurries with a high near 33. Low around 28. Friday, mostly sunny with a high near 40. Low around 31. Saturday, a 40% chance of rain with a high near 42. Low around 33. Sunday, partly sunny with a high near 41. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Weather sponsored by Lauterbach Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
How would you like to work for the area's premier multimedia marketing and advertising company right here in Springfield? Well, here's your opportunity. At Midwest Family, we're looking for talented and dynamic account executives who thrive in a fast-paced working environment. Those who are passionate, self-motivated, goal-oriented, and highly competitive. Are you a problem solver with great communication skills? Do you have a grasp on today's digital media? And do you have the ability to cultivate lasting relationships and partnerships? If this sounds like this is for you, apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on our careers tab. At Midwest Family Springfield, we offer unique sales career opportunities where you're given a challenging mission, world-class tools like HubSpot CRM, ongoing training, and the chance to realize your full potential as a marketing and advertising sales professional. This is Rob Zavitka, Director of Sales and Business Development Manager at Midwest Family Springfield. Are you my next candidate? If so, please apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on the careers tab. Midwest Family is an equal opportunity employer.
Well, we're not quite done just yet. Brian Lauer here, and I hope you all had a great Christmas. I know I did. It was the last retail Christmas season for me. See, I've been in retail since I was in 8th grade. But don't say goodbye just yet. We still have inventory to sell. So, we may be open another couple of weeks or till it's gone. Bring your Christmas cash and save big. Hours are 11 to 6, Tuesday through Saturday, in the beautiful Montvale Junction Shopping Center on West Isles.
Springfield Supportive Living. Are you young enough?
They're always doing something special for us.
I like the bowling game upstairs, and I play bingo.
The entertainment they have, it's always good.
I've made some nice friends.
I like the people here. Residents and the staff are both very, very nice.
It's a great place.
I love it.
Springfield Supportive Living. Are you young enough?
92.7 WMAY.
Springfield's news and talk.
The Illinois legislature heading back to the Capitol for the lame duck session. What is lame duck session? Well, there are lawmakers that didn't get reelected, and the last few days they can get their priorities passed. But what exactly is going to come up? What do you want to see happen, or what do you hope does not happen? Would love to hear from you. 217-629-7970. That's the phone number here with Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk. Again, you can always chime in live and local at the phone number 217-629-7970. Or you can email me, bishoponair@gmail.com. Follow me on all the social media. Just search Bishop on Air, and we can connect that way. But a lot going on at the State House. We've already had conversations on a couple of those issues. If you missed those conversations, then be sure to check out my Twitter page or my YouTube channel is probably the best place to find some of those conversations. Again, just search Bishop on Air. Like, subscribe, hit the notification. That way you can stay up to date what's going on. But we heard from Todd Vandermeide, a gun rights advocate, talking about House Bill 5855. That's the proposal that could lead to the prohibition of future sales of certain types of semi-automatic rifles, shotguns, and pistols, but also the prohibition of possessing certain magazines of more than 10 rounds. Now, Vandermeide told us earlier this morning that he's hearing that that particular aspect could be amended to go from prohibiting 10 rounds or more to 12 rounds or more. That doesn't really solve the problem. There are handguns out there with a standard magazine capacity of 14 rounds in the magazine. Let alone, it seems pretty standard with certain types of semi-automatic rifles that you can get a 30-round magazine. So that's very much going to be on our radar as we watch that play out at the Illinois State House. So lawmakers come in for lame duck session today. They have until January 10th to pass legislation. After January 10th, the new General Assembly is seated, and then they start over from scratch. So the thousands of bills that have been filed in the past 2 years, they're done with. They go poof into the air, and then they have to start over from scratch. So you'll see a whole bunch of new legislation filed January 11th and thereafter. And we'll, of course, be on the ground at the Capitol here in Springfield to watch all of that. So be sure to follow along, again, with Bishop on Air, Twitter, Facebook, definitely YouTube. Subscribe there.
and stay up to date. So the gun issue obviously is going to be top of mind for a lot of you. If you want to sound off on that, you can. 217-629-7970. But you also have a variety of other issues that are coming up. We talked with Lisa Ellis from the Illinois Grape Growers and Vintners Alliance about a proposal to drop the winemaker's fee from $1,250 annually to $750 annually. That would still be higher than what it is in Missouri at $300. That's capped in that state. But that's another issue that could come up. Another issue that is expected to possibly come up deals with the pawnbrokers and whether or not they can do short-term loans at a certain rate. So we'll get to that in here in a bit. But first, of course, your phone calls at 217-629-7970. Good morning.
Good morning, Greg. Hey, if everybody also noticed, gas all of a sudden just jumped up because the, infinite wisdom of the state government and federal government, they, levied the tax that they doubled to save us money, and it expired January 1st.
Yeah, so if you remember back in 2019, it was a bipartisan bill that passed, but it doubled the state's gas tax from 19 cents to 36 cents, but it also added on an annual increase tied to inflation. So the doubling of the gas tax in 2019, it increased per inflation in 2020. In 2021, it increased, and then in 2022, it was supposed to increase July 1st. That did not happen. Lawmakers postponed that for January 1st of this year. But here's the deal. It's not just that increase you're going to be hit with this year. There's another increase that's going to happen July 1st of this year. So you're going to get hit with 2 gas tax increases this year, 6 months apart.
Yeah, and what was that sticker for? Because now it's obsolete,
those stickers
right?
they can take those stickers off. I tell you, the gas stations I've been going to, it's hit or miss if those required stickers were there, and they were possible to get a $500 a day fine. The gas stations would have
exactly,
but I reached out time and again to the Department of Revenue and asked them over the span of several months, in the past 6 months, if they have issued any fines, and they said they haven't. So why put that in the law? I don't know. Regardless, no fines were issued to my knowledge. So, yeah, no, I appreciate that. That's definitely Happy New Year, paying more for gas taxes. But that's not necessarily something that's going to come up at the State House. But what could come up is the proposed gun ban. We'll be watching that closely. A measure to deal with wine taxes, but also a measure that could deal with pawnbrokers and how they can offer up certain types of loans. Now, Kelly Swisher, he is with the Pawnbrokers Association in Illinois, and he says that people don't really know how they operate, and they don't understand the pawn business. Here's Kelly Swisher talking briefly about that.
If you regulate us out of business, you are leaving a segment of the population with nowhere to go.
But State Senator Jacqueline Collins, who has this measure she hopes to get through both chambers of the General Assembly, says that they need to cap these interest rates.
Research shows that putting money in consumers' pockets is good for the community and local economies. It creates jobs and reduces the need for emergency cash.
So another issue that's likely to come up at the Illinois State House, and you've got just a handful of days to act on all of this legislation. There could be also some appointments of executive offices that the governor has appointed that could come up. You're likely going to hear a lot of points of personal privilege, especially recognizing the late State Senator Scott Bennett, who passed away last month, just a few days after the end of fall veto session. You've got some new lawmakers that are there temporarily, including the replacement for State Representative Tim Butler, who is going to be replaced by Jason Huffman. He's already taken the oath, so he'll be there for the duration of lame duck session. But then you've also got the next General Assembly for Tim Butler's old seat, who's going to hold that position after January 11th. So a lot of things are going to be happening this week on into the weekend. They're scheduled today, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So I've got to be up on Saturday to watch all that happen. That's going to put a crimp in my weekend. But then Monday at the Bank of Springfield Center, you've got Governor J.B. Pritzker and the other statewide constitutional officers swearing in for their inauguration. So that'll happen Monday. And then you've got Tuesday session, and then Wednesday is when the new General Assembly will be seated. And then they're essentially going to be taking the following 2 weeks off to come back January 31st, rather. And that's where you're really going to see some things pick up for the new General Assembly. So we'll watch all of it closely and be bringing you the highlights here each and every morning with Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk. I'm Greg Bishop, and you can follow along Bishop on Air, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Just search for Bishop on Air, and we can connect that way. All right, stay tuned. We got Business in the 217 coming your way next on WMAY. It's now 8:19 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
Hey, John, when you think of the word supply chain, what's your next impulse?
No, turn off the news, run for cover, start whimpering.
Yeah, well, a customer of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World wrote in that they visited the store wanting to buy a microwave.
Something that used to be so simple.
Oh, right. You know what they walked out with?
Let me guess. A microwave.
Exactly. Dick Van Dyke had what they needed in stock, and the customer also remarked as to how helpful the salespeople were, too. Supply chain problems are still a thing, but this customer got the help they needed, and they wrote in to thank us.
You know, a little less whimpering in today's world can't be a bad thing.
This is Dennis Reekin, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. Supply chain issues are minimized when you have multiple locations and people who know how to help you with your next purchase. All we do is appliances, and we do them better than anyone else. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
You create phenomenal value for your clients. You offer something extraordinary. Your work is your passion. At A Sign Company, we create visual communications that capture the professionalism, purpose, and the extraordinary values of your business. Discover how our team can work with yours to ignite your clients' confidence and strengthen your brand with true inspirational signage. Ace Sign Company, built to inspire. ASignCo.com.
What's the best thing to do with your money during uncertain times? Financial experts agree products like certificates of deposit and money market accounts can be a safe haven from a bumpy economy. At Warren Boynton State Bank, we've been helping people find ways for their money to make money for 145 years. Certificates of deposit, or CDs, give you a guaranteed return on your money. Money market accounts are a way to let your money earn higher interest with the flexibility of a checking account. These are just two options we have at Warren Boynton, each designed to give your money security, and they just might help you sleep better at night. At Warren Boynton, you can say we've seen a few things over the years. A lot has happened since we opened our doors in 1877, but no matter what was going on in the rest of the world, we've stood by folks in Central Illinois. A little extra confidence during challenging economic times. Warren Boynton State Bank, WBSB.net, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
Hello, Lauterbach Man here. People often come by and they say to me, Lauterbach Man, how do you manage to stay outside all winter? But because they're so short, it just sounds like... But I get the gist. It's cold out, and how can a fella like me endure the cold? Because at Lauterbach Tire, we understand staying outside in the cold. Your car does it every single winter. Oh yes, it challenges the batteries and belts and important fluids, but does it ever break down? No, because you brought your car to my top team of automotive technicians. Winter is tough on us all, but it doesn't have to be tough on your car. We'll make sure it's happy to start up in the morning. Oh, somebody else down there is asking me something. How zebras, tomato soup, hamper, shoelace? I can't understand you. No, it's because you're short. Sorry. Lauterbach Man at Lauterbach Tire on Wabash. We fix cars so you can drive safely now.
Furlough,
Why waste another night on a mattress that's not comfortable or supportive? This is Caleb Kitzman with Verlo Mattress. Our mattresses aren't dropped off by the truckload like most mattress stores. At Verlo, we handcraft every mattress in our local factory. That means we custom fit a mattress for you, not the other way around. Stop in this month and pair any of our mattresses with an adjustable base and get up to $200 off. Verlo Mattress. We're not just building a better mattress, we're building a better night's sleep for less.
Save up to $600 during Verlo's clearance sale.
Right now, during the Verlo Mattress Clearance Sale, you can save even more with Verlo's already low consumer direct prices. Oh, you'll find phenomenal savings on floor models and discontinued mattresses. And all our mattresses are made locally, just for you, and are backed by our lifetime comfort guarantee. Oh, but you'd better hurry. The sale ends soon. Wake up, sleep better, and save at Verlo.
Less hassle, more travel. We've got connections, Springfield to Dallas to anywhere. The Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport remains open for you. Your hometown airport is committed to providing a safe, clean, and healthy travel experience. Security lines are short, parking is always free, and customer service is a top priority. Book your next American Airlines flight from SPI at aa.com. Fly local, fly SPI.
Take the easy way out.
The WMAY Daily Poll is sponsored by Adams Pest Control for commercial, residential, real estate inspections, and termite control. Cast your vote with the WMAY mobile app or at WMAY.com/poll.
And today's poll question is football too dangerous? Yes, the risks outweigh the benefits, or no, accidents and injuries can happen in any sports or any occupation. And it's been bouncing around a bit this morning. At one point, it was split 50-50. At one point, it was 70+% said no. And right now, 55% of you say no. Accidents and injuries can happen in any sport or any occupation. Go vote at WMAY.com/poll or on the WMAY mobile app. And it's brought to you by Adams Pest Control.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop. Weekdays 6 till 9 on 92.7 WMAY.
All right, let's talk business in the 217 as we do each and every Wednesday at around this time. And in the new year, it's a great time to look at what's coming up with some businesses in the area. And Michelle Ownby with the Springfield Business Journal knows all about it. And she takes us through the various things to highlight this week. And Michelle, thanks for taking time. Happy New Year. How you been?
Good morning, Greg. Doing well. And, the new year always seems to bring lots of opening and closing announcements, and this year has been no exception to that.
So let's go right into it with an opening. Scooter's Coffee. We've seen this thing being erected. It's a pretty nice looking building. What's going on there?
Yeah, so this is a national company. The local franchisees are Marcus and Lauren McGlasson, who are Pleasant Plains residents. They're actually the same ones who opened that location in Taylorville last year. That was their first one. Now the location over on Clear Lake is open. Now they're having their official grand opening on Friday the 13th, appropriately enough, but they actually held a soft opening right before Christmas. So if you want to give them a try, you can do that at this point. And they've already got a second location under construction over on Wabash Avenue, that outlot of the Chatham Square Shopping Center. And when I chatted with Lauren, she said they've got some pending in Indiana as well. They're the franchisees for that area, and this is a company that's seen pretty aggressive growth. They've gone from about 75 locations nationwide in 2010 to just around 300 by last year. So they've tripled in size in a pretty short time frame.
It's always amazing to see, regardless of what kind of coffee shop it is, the lines are immense. Be it all the Starbucks there are, be it the cup of Java, and I would imagine Scooters as well.
Hayes just opened. Yeah.
It's fantastic because everybody needs that cup of Joe. So having those options is definitely good. Let's talk about now something that a lot of people are fans of, and that's MJ's Fish and Chicken Express. What's the latest there?
Oh, this is very near and dear to my heart. This is right in my neighborhood. Yes, MJ's Fish and Chicken. Of course, they started out with the food truck there on South Grand, and then a few years ago purchased the building there at 716 East Enos, right in the Enos Park neighborhood between 7th and 8th Street. And they were actually doing so well, they were having trouble keeping up with business. They were having staffing issues, just like a lot of restaurants. It's family-owned. Jerome and his wife, Margaret, Jerome and Margaret Taylor. And so they were really just kind of struggling to keep up with the demand. And so last summer, they made the announcement that they were going to close the restaurant portion. They would still rent it out for private events or fundraisers and that sort of thing, but they were switching to a catering-only model. So for people like me, who were eating there on a weekly basis, that was very disappointing. But now they're coming back at least somewhat. They're going to be open for carryout on the weekends. So starting January 20th, they will be open on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays for people to come in and get carryout orders. So at least now, even if you're not throwing a party or hosting a fundraiser, you still have an option to get you some of that good MJ's food.
Yeah, and a lot of people excited about that, no question. Jungle Jim's Cafe, though, different story. What's going on with that particular eatery?
Yes, win some, lose some on the north end. Right around the same time MJ's made their announcement, Jungle Jim's just announced yesterday that they were closing effective immediately. Of course, that property has been for sale for quite a while, and no buyer has materialized. But Mary announced that, again, just due to staffing issues, increase in supplies and pricing and all that, and needing to spend more time with her grandkids and her family, that she has decided to just call it a day and shut things down. So I know that place is a bit of a legacy and got the Route 66 connection and all that. So a lot of folks are very sad to hear about Jungle Jim's closing.
We're talking with Michelle Ownby. She's the publisher of the Springfield Business Journal. Before we get to this next story, Michelle, tell people how they can get their hands on the SBJ.
Well, if you go to springfieldbusinessjournal.com, you can sign up for Biz Bites. That's our newsletter that comes out every Wednesday afternoon, and that's free of charge, just kind of a weekly roundup of what's happening in the business world. And, of course, you can also sign up for the print edition and get that delivered directly to your home or office.
Now, the Illinois General Assembly, they've got lame duck session underway starting today. They end January 10th, and there's an issue that we talked about earlier this hour, and that deals with pawnbrokers and the issue of interest rates that the pawn shops can offer on a short-term basis. And they're looking at legislation coming down the pike that could cap that. We've heard from some pawn owners across the states, but even right here in Springfield, you guys talked with Monster Pawn. How are they going to be impacted by this?
Yeah, we did. Edwin Pierce is the owner of Monster Pawn, as you said, not just in Springfield, but he also has locations in Peoria, Normal, and Bloomington. And, of course, Monster Pawn has their location there on MacArthur, but they just recently bought the old House of Music property there on North Grand and 3rd, so they're in the midst of a pretty significant expansion here locally. And he says that his business will be in danger of closing if this passes, because the legislation, as you mentioned, would cap interest rates at 36%. Of course, that sounds like a lot. But the pawn shop owners make the argument that it's not fair to look at the annual interest rate, since they're typically making these loans on a weekly or monthly basis. Just like you don't look at the cost to rent a hotel room for an entire year, you look at the cost for a night or perhaps a week. So certainly a very contentious issue. Hasn't gotten nearly as much attention as the Safety Act and assault weapons and all that, but something that could potentially have an impact on some local businesses.
Michelle Ownby, publisher of the Springfield Business Journal, greatly appreciate you taking the time. You've got your thumb on the pulse of what's going on in Springfield's business community, and we like getting that update each and every week. Happy New Year, and we'll talk again next week, all right?
All right. Thanks, Craig.
It is Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. And, hey, they start veto session. They start lame duck session today, and it's going to be a lot of moving pieces. But what's going to happen with the Safety Act and the Pre-Trial Fairness Act? The Illinois Supreme Court on New Year's Eve, they issued a stay on that statewide, so can't implement that yet. Is that going to come up at all during the lame duck session? When are we actually going to have some finality to whether that law is going to be implemented or not? That's something else that we'll watch closely and bring you all the latest here with Springfield's Morning News. That's all I got for you today. Be sure to follow along Bishop on Air on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Again, Bishop on Air. We can connect that way. Appreciate everybody tuning in and staying informed. We'll be back at it tomorrow.